Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Tomo and this is the Borden model Bf109-G6 in 1/35th scale part 3. Yes, we are continuing the assembly and painting of this particular model, and here I'm showing you how I'm just spraying the effect of grime through the airbrush. I don't know, I had a brain fart and I just wanted to try it. It sprays on fantastic. This is the end result, and this is how I did it. I used this little soft brush, Prox, very ultra soft if you want to know which one I'm using. And then I'm just kind of brushing it off when it's dry, you know, just taking off the majority of the grime. And this is how it looks for the first pass, and then I'm using a cotton swab to do the rest because, you know, I don't want it to be too dirty. But yeah, this is how it looks afterwards. And I'm using a dry cotton swab, not a moist one. I also attached this side intake, and then I proceeded to paint the cockpit with dark aluminum. Here it is. Then I applied a very liberal coat of worn effects because I wanted to make the cockpit look a little bit more rustic. Used, weathered, whatever the case may be. I'm still learning this process, and the airbrush application really works well. Alright, so before you jump me, I used the RLM 66 paint for the interior. Had I actually bothered to check the color of the decals, I would have noticed that this particular shade is not the correct one because it clashes a little bit with the decals. You will see what I mean a little later on. Now here I am just removing the excess paint using a very stiff brush and some force and water to kind of remove the paint, try to chip it, you know. The problem is that I probably added too much paint on top, or I should have added a little bit more worn effect fluid on the bottom just so that it would affect a little bit more. Or maybe the worn effect fluid is a little bit old because I do have it for a long time. But anyway, I struggle a little bit, but this is the end result, and I'm pretty satisfied with it. I didn't want to go too overboard, so this is another angle. You can see that I've scratched the back seat as well. So yeah, now this is the color for the breech cover that covers the control surface. The stick of joy. Yeah, look at that. It doesn't look that bad actually. I'm just painting the handle in this black, maybe rubber black paint that I mixed together for this occasion. So I don't really know the particular shade of this color, but it looks really nice. What do you think? And yeah, this is how it turned out. Now I have to paint the switch on top, and I'm gonna use this pale brass. Again, it's not really made for a brush, but I did somehow manage to make it work. And make it work I did. Look at that. I like it. What about you? And now we're gonna come to the fun stuff, the 3D decals. If you have never used them before, this is how you apply them on top. So basically you soak them in water just like the normal ones, but before attaching them to the plastic surface, you do need to apply a little bit of PVA glue so that they will stick properly and adhere just like they're supposed to. Now here you can clearly see the difference in paint. So the background color for the cockpit instrument panel is like German gray, and my cockpit is not. And this will be more evident here. Just like before, I'm applying PVA glue right out of the bottle and with a brush just to make sure that the decals will adhere properly. Then I placed each decal individually, pressing it down slightly just to make sure that the adhesion is permanent. And this type of applying the decals works fantastic. Now I will be detail painting the rest of the side walls of the cockpit later, but for now I'm just attaching the decals so that I'll see how they actually look and how they will interact with the plastic, because this is my first time. And this one is interesting. These are wires. Right now I'm placing them a little bit too far away from the fuse box, but then I'm gonna kind of scooch them over a little bit and then clean the excess PVA glue with a moist brush, just like so. Oopsie, fix it. And this is how the other side looks. Now we will turn our attention to the center cockpit, where we have to place lots of decals. And this is the decal that was placed on the engine that I did in a previous video. So basically this is a rinse and repeat cycle. You apply PVA glue, you put the decals in warm water, make sure that they come off the paper, and then apply them on the surface. Again, here you can clearly see the stark difference between the paint of the cockpit and the paint of the instrument panels. When I found out the error of my ways, I didn't really want to repaint the cockpit because I've already weathered it and sealed it, and I kind of like the effect, so I just went with it. But if I were to build this aircraft again, I would be much more mindful next time. Honestly guys, I'm really happy with the decals. Quinta Studio decals are fantastic. If you have the chance to use them, I don't think you'll regret it. I mean, they're not exactly cheap. These ones were 25 euros, but they really make a difference once you apply them, and I'm super happy that I did. Now here you will see a slight modification that I needed to do because I wanted to apply the decal and I had to remove the existing surface detail in order to do this. And although I'm not a fan of post-painting maneuvers such as this, the end result was satisfactory. But unfortunately you won't be able to see the whole thing because this piece is hidden inside the cockpit very well. Anyway, the boot straps, these were annoying. I used not PVA but CA glue for this application because otherwise they just would not stick. And you need to have a very patient hand and a very steady hand. And this is like take 25,000 that you're seeing right now because it just wouldn't stick. Get it? Stick? Okay, whatever. Yeah, I smushed them down a little bit just to make them a little bit more normal, I guess. And this was the last decal that comes on top of this cover for the center machine gun. Lovely, just lovely. Now this is an interesting one, a 3D decal that you need to build up. This particular thing might be some sort of a fuel cutoff valve or something, but you need to put some knobs on top. And I used a slow drying CA glue, otherwise you won't be able to attach these bastards on top. They will keep falling off. And poking them with tweezers doesn't really help. Honestly, I don't know why I'm doing it, but anyway, they stayed in place and this is how they look. Quite nice. The cockpit instrument panel also has some additions that you need to attach on top. And again, I'm using CA glue, not the PVA. And I'm not really sure how to attach these pieces because in the instructions, it's not quite clear. I'm also looking at my reference photos from the book. And I'm very sorry for the out of focus video. I don't know what my camera was doing. Usually it has nice focus, but for some reason, sometimes it just goes off script. Yeah, just like here, I'm attaching these little knobs and switches with CA glue, and it looks pretty realistic, don't you think? Now that I've placed down all the 3D decals, it's time for some painting to make this cockpit look more alive. If you like the videos, if you like the channel, follow me, subscribe, and have a wonderful time looking at a wonderful world of scale model building, and all your dreams and wishes will come true. Okay, that's done. Now we have to paint this fuel line. Now I will do some modification on the fuel line later on because there's supposed to be a clear plastic tube in the middle to see if there are any bubbles forming in the fuel. And I'll do this after, because I didn't know it right now. Machine guns, side machine guns, X1 black with some highlights on the side. You'll see the finished product. I didn't show the whole process, but yeah, this is how they looked like. And then I'll do some weathering, soft dry brushing with metallic colors to emphasize the nozzles and the heat shields. And yes, I didn't forget about the oxygen. What's it called? The Dragger oxygen system, the blue thing. I wanted to put some pipes there, but I forgot. Yeah. Anyway, this is how it turned out. And this is for the clamps for the yellow fuel pipe. Again, I'll put the clear plastic pipe inside later on, but for now it looks like this. And I've also detailed the other side. The last 3D decal is the oxygen gauges right here that I had to attach. And now we're basically done with this video. Yeah. Thank you so very much for watching. If you have been, thank you for liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing, and I'll see you in part 4. Bye bye.